Hello, everybody. This is your random reviewer, and today we're reviewing Paranoid Mage by Inadvisably Compelled, narrated by Jeromy Frazier. As always, there'll be some spoilers, but overall, I will be vague. This story is, in my opinion, one of the most realistic portrayals of low fantasy, or modern day fantasy, especially when the supernatural is still kept secret from most of the world. This is particularly impressive because it is, in a way, blended seamlessly into society and kept wholly separate. Due to glamours, mental magics, and media manipulation, the supernatural world is almost completely obscured from any mundane eye, allowing fully transformed werewolves and even the most grotesque of fae to roam about with little to no problem. However, due to the presence of near immortal leadership in the supernatural community, the strongest being closer to feudal lords than politicians, and the leadership seeing all non magical folk as second class citizens, the magical community is, by and large, anywhere from several decades to centuries out of date with the modern society. Now, add in mandated draft and indoctrination to the magical government for all mages, and stagnation is an obvious result. Not to say that the magical community is all quills and ink. Mostly only those old and with power are the ones out of date, with those lower on the totem pole, so to speak, being more in line with the rest of the world. That just covers the mages. Add in the other supernatural politics and things get really complicated. Not to mention one of the most interesting takes on Fae and how they work that I have ever read. On to the plot itself. Our main character gets outed as a mage in his 30s. With no knowledge of the magic community, he very reasonably doesn't take kindly to being told he is drafted. And his choice is either to comply with a chance of being killed or be labeled a renegade mage and hunted down. So he decides not to comply with the government that he had no knowledge of a day ago and claimed ownership on him, and went off the grid. Of course, it wouldn't be much of a story if things went his way. His hermit life doesn't last. Seeing the atrocities of some of the magical community, he can't just sit idly by. Inevitably, he is dragged back into the paranormal world using a mix of magical and mundane to stay out of the hands of the authorities. As for the characters of the story, they are all solidly built. Even if the main character could basically be anyone you see down the street, with the fighting traits of finding unique solutions and an unnatural focus on the task at hand. The rest are in a similar boat, with the exceptions of a mage or two being out of date with the times, and the occasional werewolf neighbor. Overall, I give the story a solid 9 out of 10. The world building is not only phenomenal, but it is also complete, with little to no gaps that don't make sense. The characters seem natural and interact in a way that feels smooth. The magical community is diverse and set up in such a way that it tells its history without the need to be blatantly stated, which is a credit to the author. I would also like to give a nod to the narrator for doing an excellent job with the voices. Additionally, this series is complete, and the quality holds all the way through. I also appreciate the white picket fence romance, even if it doesn't really get rolling until book 3. Thank you all for listening to my random review.